And welcome to Comment Section. It is a podcast where we bring to the table the beautiful, bright wooden table of...
Which you can't see if you're listening to this.
Yes, or watching it, actually.
I know.
It's not visible on any medium, but it is a wooden table. And we're bringing things to the table in the form of news stories.
Which we tried to do last week, but let me tell you.
Yeah, let's just talk about what we failed to do last week for the next hour and a half.
Previously on Comment Section. Or set you with a chimpanzee and brought you back to the world.
Yeah, so there you go. Now you have to go back and listen to that episode if you didn't catch it to find out what you were missing. So we're going to actually say news stories this episode.
We will try.
Entertainment, movies, TV, games.
Last week was basically a tribute to the legendary Batman, Adam West.
Yep. And this week is a tribute to just a news story that is, last episode, I mentioned that my news was not very much news. It was kind of old news at that point. This is even more so. I shouldn't even be saying it because it's a pathetic excuse for news because it's probably about a month old at this point. But I had to mention it because I just wanted to, because it was the more interesting one in my own life. And that is, there has been a comeback recently, about 4 weeks ago, at the time of recording this podcast.
Yes. By the time they hear it, 6.
Taking us back to the 90s, the early 90s, as early as you can go in the 90s.
1990?
Yeah, 1990.
January 1st, 1990?
There was a show that didn't do that well and was canceled very early on only 2 seasons.
Yes.
The first one only being a few episodes and then a second season. And it's finally come back.
How many episodes did the whole thing have?
30-ish, I think.
Okay.
And it is the show, the cult classic, Twin Peaks. And I actually just watched that series for the first time, just binge-watched it.
The new one or the old one?
The old one.
So the new one hasn't come out yet?
It came out a few weeks ago. I just recently watched it, maybe a few weeks before that came out, and I didn't even know this was happening because I had just kind of discovered and started really liking the show. And if you don't know, and if anyone doesn't know, and at the time of its original release back in the 90s, it wasn't exactly this huge show, mostly because I would say at the time, the type of television that people wanted, people probably didn't want that at the time.
It was ahead of its time.
I would say mostly because it's a mystery. It's like a very strange, little bit supernatural mystery show where almost the entire series basically is solving this one mystery. So episode after episode after episode, people didn't find out what the answer to the mystery was. But now you can just binge watch it on Netflix, and I found out within a few days what the whole mystery was all about. And it's all about Detective Cooper, Agent Cooper.
Spoiler alert, probably.
No, I'm not going to spoil it. It's just about...
Oh, it has been 27 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. But it's all about solving the death of, I believe, 17-year-old Laurel Palmer, who everyone except for Agent Cooper lives in this small town called Twin Peaks, and he comes to solve the mystery, and almost the entire show is about solving that mystery. It gets really weird. It's a weird show directed by David Lynch, who's known for just weird stuff. And after that long of a time, I believe there was a prequel movie that came out in 1992, I think. So that's the last Twin Peaks thing there was. And now it's 2017. And it's starting again. Even the tagline is "It's happening again."
So it's a sequel. It's not a reboot.
It starts. Actually, I think it starts about like the 25 years after. Like it actually is like 25 years after.
Some people, it seems like some people forget what reboot means. You know, like we heard about. I didn't watch it, but Roseanne coming back. Yeah. That's not a reboot. A reboot is Batman Begins to Tim Burton Batman.
It starts it over.
It starts it over. It has nothing to do with the original.
This is not a reboot. It is actually events happening. 25 years. This stuff happened.
Yeah.
It's happening. And with things like this, I have no idea what to think. I have no idea if it's going to be good, if it's going to capture the spirit of the
David
show
Lynch
at all.
coming back?
Yeah, he's the director. I think, honestly, this is one thing it absolutely could not have been done without David Lynch. He's like his directing style is too specific, and his vision, I mean, he created the whole show too. It couldn't have been done without him. But yeah, he's doing it, and I get the feeling, I actually don't know if this is true, but I get the sense that maybe he probably had way more control over it this time. Like, he probably was just like, do whatever. That was what I guess.
Is it on HBO or
Showtime?
Okay. So it is more freedom than what was on ABC?
Yeah, because I think they were kind of long episodes. They were like probably like the 45-minute-ish mark. They get an hour.
So yeah.
But these.
Now it's 42.
Yeah, but...
I mean, nowadays, an hour-long show is 42. We lost 3 minutes.
Yeah,
in those 27 years.
But now I think they run over an hour, and so that was another thing. I was like, it's going to be a little bit... It's going to be longer form. And sometimes stuff like this, like, I mean, one example of where a director just got... One of the most famous examples of when a director just got all control, too much control, was the Star Wars prequels.
And I'll say it, Chris Nolan with Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. You never know how it's going to turn out. Actually, again, I don't know for sure how much, like, what exactly, but I would guess with a legendary show and David Lynch being a famous director, I would guess they were like, just do whatever. It's your vision. But I will say, and I think that this is probably the general consensus, it's very good, and people seem to be very happy with it. The interesting thing to me is that it simultaneously is way different, but still captures the spirit of it, which is kind of like the most interesting part, because like the plot and the things that are happening in it just are like, this would never happen in the original series. It's not like really solving a mystery. Like the original was a little bit more of a traditional detective solving a mystery series, but with like a weird supernatural twist to it. This has gone pretty full off the rails into like the supernatural, even sometimes horror territory. Just weird sci-fi and horror stuff are happening, but it's still Twin Peaks in some undetectable way.
So I don't know a lot about this show, so I can't ask a lot of questions, but is the original cast coming back, or are they recasting the original roles, or is it new characters?
It is basically almost the entire original cast.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's even anyone left out. Almost everyone made it back. There's even this there's this kind of minor character that was kind of a bit of a fan favorite because it was a funny character named Log Lady, who's just this lady who had just held a log and she would talk to people through the log. She even made it back, but she actually died before the actual release. So she was in it, but she ended up passing away before the actual release, sadly. But it was great to see her back as well. But yeah, everyone's like 25 years older, and that's interesting to see. But there are some new cast, but like it still for the most part follows Agent Cooper, just in a very, very different scenario. And I don't want to, since this is happening now and it's not even all out yet. I definitely don't want to get too much into that.
Please do not spoil it for anyone.
But yeah, I definitely say, like, I'm very happy with how it turned out after not knowing what to expect.
So you were a fan of the show before they announced the revival? Or?
I think the revival was announced. I just had no idea.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just like I just watched the whole series and I was like, that was good. And then I was like looking stuff up. Like I probably just typed Twin Peaks into Google to like maybe read the Wikipedia page or something, just learn more about it. And I was like, it's coming back in like a month. What is this? So it was kind of a coincidence. But yeah. It's all new to me but I've seen up to this point. I think there's still a few episodes yet to come out. So yeah, that's Twin Peaks.
There it is.
Good show.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I heard a lot of people were excited about it.
Yeah.
So, we talked about Spider-Man a lot last time.
Yeah.
Get ready for it again.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know about how much you follow anything about the Spider-Man news.
Well, I do have to delve into the news for this show.
Oh,
I think I looked at your news suggestions. And
I did tell you about them.
Yeah.
So, it was announced recently that Sony was going to kind of do a villain universe, starting with Venom, which starts filming soon, which has Tom Hardy as Venom.
Oh, dang.
So, Venom, and then there's going to be... And it was announced recently. Today.
That's recent.
Not when you hear it, though, 2 weeks later. But today it was announced, I'm pretty sure, it was today or yesterday, that Carnage is going to be the villain in the Venom movie.
Ooh.
And there's also going to be Black Cat and Silver Sable, which, if you don't watch the movie, Black Cat was in... the 90s cartoon. I believe they were both in the Spectacular Spider-Man. And also, originally it was said that it was going to be its own universe. No Spider-Man at all. Which was stupid. Because, doing this villain universe is what killed the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. That's what killed it. And then, so you're going to do it without him? But in a recent interview, Amy Pascal, who's the head of Sony, with Kevin Feige, who is the head of Marvel Studios, next to her, a lot of people are talking about how he has a shocked look on his face when she says this, says that they are connected. So, Tom Hardy's Venom is Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Oh.
They exist in the same universe, and I guess eventually... they'll be enemies, but although they announced for so long that it was going to be separate, now they're saying they're combined.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige just has this look on his face. I was like, what are you talking about, lady? Or like you weren't supposed to announce this soon. But before I get into my thoughts about kind of spinning off these other characters and having it join the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what are your thoughts about having a Venom movie? And I don't know if you know who Black Cat and Silver Sable are.
I know... I'm not familiar with any of their material. I know they're Spider-Man villains.
Yeah.
I know what they look like, but I haven't seen the 90s Spider-Man to know. But as I said in the last episode of Comment Section, this podcast...
Yes.
Venom's my favorite Spider-Man villain. So, if I can see Venom in this new Spider-Man franchise, I'm all for it. I want to see that.
We never did get that in Andrew Garfield. That's the heartbreaking thing, is that there was so much they still wanted to see from that, but yeah, we never did get that. So
yeah. I mean, what else? What else is there? Was there another question I missed? I'm excited to see that. If I want it to happen.
It's interesting because they want to do this Venom movie, and they want to do Black Cat and Silver Sable, but yet Spider-Man is just starting out in this universe, so that's like a lot they gotta pack in. So do you think they talk about how maybe Spider-Man could show up, but what do you think about I almost would feel more comfortable having this spin-off thing if we were still in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where they had introduced a lot of the villains.
Yeah.
And they had to restart because they killed off everyone, but
yeah,
all the villains. But I don't know. I just feel like, man, this gonna be like a quick history almost. Like, do you think they'll have the black suit if they're because Venom? I'll check real quick when it's supposed to come out, but Venom is supposed to start filming later this year.
Yeah. So, man. So I mean, if the universes are actually combined, then what is your thought then that this would be
it's better.
I just mean, like, is then it possible that you would see Tom Hardy's Venom in this, like, Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy?
It sounds like it'd be more reversed. Like, you see Tom Holland in Venom.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Like, how, like, is it actually going to be in the main Spider-Man movies?
Well, he could show up because a lot of people think that we have, God, what's it called? Secret Wars? And a lot of people, there's a theory about how Spider-Man could get the black suit in there at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
So, but let's see.
Yeah, I mean, a contrary thing is the last time they did Black Suit, it wasn't received quite that well, but, you know, hopefully
Venom's supposed to come out October 5th, 2018.
Okay.
So that's about a year after Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see Spider-Man
I would, because a lot of people, like me, were just like, look, I like Spider-Man 3 more than most people, but I still wish we had more than just one. I would have liked to have had a full movie of them, the two against each other, but, you know, we got something before that trilogy ended.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how they're going to do that. I don't know. I just feel like it's really fast to do all this.
I guess my thinking that made me not question it as much as I was thinking, well, if it was in one of the main Spider-Man movies, then they would be like, oh, maybe it's in the third one, and then it'll be still a few years down before we see Venom in a Spider-Man. But since it's the other way around, more likely that Spider-Man would be in Venom. It seems too soon.
Yeah, it's a interesting thing. I think because they wanted to do Venom after Spider-Man 3, which I guess that kind of means he lives at the end of Spider-Man 3. But yeah, it is interesting. Although we get Carnage too, so
yeah,
that's bonus too for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. It is interesting. Oh, I am happy that Spider-Man is going to be in it versus it's going to be a Spider-Man-less universe. Which, what do you want to see a Joker movie without Batman?
Yeah, I mean, no.
So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for this because we talked a lot about Spider-Man last time.
We're a bit Spider-Man'd out.
Yeah, but I'm so happy that it's taking place, and I mean, you gotta trust. Marvel's been doing. Kevin Feige's been around since I guess the first X-Men movie.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So
exciting stuff.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, moving on to the next topic. Already more topics than the last episode.
I know. I'm getting a little worried if we're gonna run short.
So this is a very minor little thing, but exciting little details to think about for Star Wars fans. Colin Trevorrow, I don't know how to say it, the director.
I think you got it right.
The director of Episode 9, asked Rian Johnson, the director of Episode 8, if he would shoot an extra scene during The Last Jedi's production to help set up Episode 9. So it sounds like there's something that is in the artistic vision of director Colin Trevorrow that he has in mind that basically he needs in production already. Now, would this be... too bad I can't open that link right now because it's an airplane. Well, I think this is just extrapolating anyway. I mean, but, so this scene they're shooting, I wonder if it is going to be like at the end of episode 8 or at the beginning of episode 9. Because if it's at the beginning of episode 9, that would mean that part of that was actually shot and directed by Rian Johnson at the beginning of episode 9, which is interesting. Otherwise, and I feel like it wouldn't be at the end of episode 8. I feel like what it sounds like, a scene that is wanted to be shot during The Last Jedi's production to help set up episode 9, sounds like he wants a scene already in production, already shot for when he takes over and does episode 9. So, not really a whole lot that can be...
I think they did that for Force Awakens, too.
So,
I think...
Is there something set up that was directed by J.J. Abrams in the next one, then? Is that...
I think when they were filming kind of that last scene on the island, they filmed something for episode 8, too.
I see. So it could be something like that.
I don't know 100% for sure, but that's why I heard.
Well, clear. I came to this wooden table with so little information just because I kind of wanted this to be a bit more of a thinking, more than an actual. It's interesting little tidbit of news about the Star Wars franchise. Oh no! Just accidentally opened a thing before trying to read the... Okay. So, it's this December episode 8 is coming out, right?
Yes.
How's it going to be? No, I didn't have anything else, so I just had to make something up.
So before we transition, it's nice to hear that the directing in a Star Wars movie is going well, unlike what happened last night. Do you not know?
What happened last night?
Am I breaking news to you?
Maybe. I kind of zoned out.
You don't know. You know, maybe this should be the next thing. Okay. So we had episode 7. We had Rogue One. Mm-hmm. So it's like saga, spin-off, saga, spin-off.
Yeah.
After that, I didn't even have this in my notes. Oh wait, yes I did. Never mind. But it happened last night. But what happened was the next spin-off is supposed to be Han Solo. You don't know this?
Oh, okay. This is starting to ring a bell. I remember. Yeah, I knew the next spin-off was Han Solo.
So
break the news again to me.
So the next one is supposed to be Han Solo. It was announced last night that the directors of Han Solo, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, I believe is their names. They did the 21 Jump Street movies and Lego movie. Have left Han Solo and are no longer directing it. Now, think about this. Apparently they were fired from the movie. Think about this. They've been filming this since January.
Oh, man.
So, that movie doesn't have a director anymore, and they've been filming for a while. So it sounds like the directors and Kathleen Kennedy, who's kind of the head of Lucasfilm. I guess you could... She's Star Wars' Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
They did not get along, and so they basically said, it's creative differences, they're done. So, filming since January, 6 months later, they're gone.
Doesn't sound good.
It does not. And here's the question to ask, because... Let me bring this up. I believe the release date is next year. So...
Creeping up.
Oh, before we start, I'm going to look up the release date real quick. Do you think this will stay in its release date?
Yeah, what I do know is I would rather them just not come out with it than release another bad Star Wars movie. I just want happy times ahead for the Star Wars franchise. So, if there's...
It's supposed to come out May 25th, 2018.
Okay.
That's less than a year away.
Less than a year away for a movie that currently doesn't have a director.
It doesn't. Like, they're talking about it could be Ron Howard next or someone like that.
That's pretty cool. I like Ron Howard because...
But... They weren't agreeing on the vision of the movie.
Here's a fact I just learned about the Star Wars franchise that I didn't know, because you said Ron Howard. That Ron Howard, like Steven Spielberg and someone else, were approached to direct the prequels.
Yeah.
But then they were like, "Oh no, George Lucas, you need to do it. This is too big of a project." And I just thought it was interesting. Like, imagine, what if it was directed by one of them?
I know everyone wants Spielberg to direct it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just imagine a Steven Spielberg Star Wars prequels.
But here's the thing. They were talking... I'm dying, people!
We're talking about what could have been.
Disney is gassing us!
Oh, God.
So, that tear gas is everywhere. Anyway, so... What happened was, they don't agree on the vision, but yet... They went 6 months, and then they decide not to do it?
That's a lot of shooting, probably.
I mean, do you think that it could cause it to where they scrap everything they currently have and just restart?
I mean, how, like...
They spent already so much money on it, but...
I would rather... If they don't think that what they've done already is good enough... They better do that, because it's a Star Wars movie and I want it to be good.
I don't want to scare anyone. When I utter this, I know it's going to scare some people.
Get ready. Brace yourself.
Will it be like Fantastic Four, where clearly, it was not finished by the same director and someone else finished it?
Need a drink.
They didn't say it, but... I mean, I haven't watched Fantastic Four in a while. I mean, the Josh Trank one. But you watch them, it's clear, especially after you see how much was taken... When you see how much was edited out of Batman vs. Superman, you see Fantastic Four is clearly not finished. There is a lot of stuff missing from that movie. And a lot of people talk about how it switches at the very end, so it's clearly someone else directing at the end. Like, they say it could have been Matthew Vaughn or Bryan Singer who finished that movie.
Yeah,
but what do you
I just make the right choice, guys.
It's interesting. I mean, look, but here's the thing. People are worried about stuff, but here's the thing. Let's not forget, as we mentioned earlier, we already had a director who had total freedom in Star Wars, and it did not go very well.
Yeah.
Especially with the prequel. Yeah. So, and prequel is Star Wars fans' every favorite word. But it did not go well, and so maybe it is best if they're like, hey, that's not how the character should be, or I don't know.
I mean, that is definitely a thing. Like, if they see that something's wrong and they're changing it, that is a good sign.
Yeah.
But if they don't do the transitional period right, then it's bad. Like, if they don't make the next big decision, which is being really harsh with whether what has already been done is good enough, and then choosing to just redo stuff that isn't good enough, like, there just needs to be some, like, harsh decisions made in order to...
And also, to compare it to DC, I mean, the recent DC movies, Wonder Woman's obviously a big success, but you look at what happened with those movies. You had The Dark Knight Rises. Clearly, Nolan was allowed to do whatever he wanted. It didn't work. And you had Man of Steel, to which Nolan was also a producer. And he told Warner Bros. This, let Zack Snyder do whatever he wanted. And when you look at on paper, it sounds like Zack Snyder did whatever he wanted with Batman vs. Superman, so he decided to make it 3 hours and R-rated. Not a good idea for a movie you want to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, X-Men Days of Future Past was going to make more than Logan because it was PG-13. Personally, I like X-Men Days of Future Past more because I didn't really like Logan, but if you did, that's great. I wish I did, but, So, yeah, it's good. We've had so many times recently where, at least as a DC fan, and also for Star Wars fans, we've had so many times where directors allowed to do whatever he wants. It sucks right now. I think they're going to push the release date back.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a
I just saw something scary.
Uh-oh.
Could this mean that production of Star Wars 9 has to get sped up?
That would be the worst case scenario of all time.
I did not want to say this, but
the worst case scenario is if they botch this movie and then, as a result of trying to unbotch it, botch another main Star Wars franchise.
I mean, for all we know, this is the last Star Wars movie, and Episode 9 is the last one with the original characters, at least for a while. Because they could always, like, do a spin-off movie, or...
Yeah.
I think probably they'll reboot it someday. But
Yeah.
whatever. We could have a whole discussion about that. But, so, you want to make sure that last one, I feel like, man, you screw up Episode 9, you're not... It's going to take a while for fans to get happy with you again.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that was my last... I'm assuming it'll be the last... If it's the last Luke Skywalker, people be like, that's what we got?
Yeah.
No!
Ooh, I mean...
Plus, people, at least for me, I'm more forgiving if, like, I think people would be more forgiving about the prequels, not being happy with the prequels, because that's not the end of the story. You know, this is the end of the story,
Yeah.
probably, so if you have a crappy ending, that could make some people really mad.
We don't know if there's not going to be a 10. That's a good even number.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to end at an even number, you know. But
10, that'd be a nice box set.
yeah, I love a 10 box set.
You know how much I would like to have 10 Batman movies? Now you could say, we have 8. I mean like a series. We could get on this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of reboots. Can't we just keep going?
Yeah.
Like,
Finally, just keep going.
like, we probably could have kept going with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because they didn't kill off the villains. I mean, you could have continued with Nolan's... You had to reboot with Nolan's Batman because they botched it with that third one. But still.
Yeah. Man, like... There isn't just... Nothing goes on... No movie
There's no
series
James
goes on
Bond
long enough.
anymore.
Yeah, I know. Like, nothing just goes on. How many current James Bond movies are there?
Oh, man.
I haven't watched any of those.
I know it's over 20. Well,
No,
they
I
rebooted that.
meant the reboot. Like, how long have those been? Like,
4.
there's 4? Okay, that's still longer than...
It sounds like even after he leaves, they're gonna reboot. Like,
Oh, that's true.
I really like it where
Things are just constantly working
I like
into the
how we're
reboot.
getting to the point where I'm ready for an X-Men reboot.
Yeah.
Like, can't we just keep going, guys?
You know, they... man. Like, everything is, like, 2 or 3.
I know,
It's
and then it feels like we gotta start over. It's just
Yeah,
can't
you
we?
don't have to.
I really would like to just have 20 years. You can recast the actors. I just like to go 20 years, and then you can start over.
Yeah. No, that's why every freaking thing is an origin story because of
Yeah.
that. You never get into anything.
I know.
But-
There's so much history of other. If you're like adapting on a comic book, there's so much history we still haven't gotten
Yeah.
because they restart.
You know, speaking of origin stories, I don't think we surprisingly haven't even talked about this yet. But you've seen Wonder Woman, right?
Yes, I have.
What do you think?
Oh.
I didn't think I heard the official gavel on this.
On my thoughts on Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I think it is great. It is her. I expressed early on about what I wanted, what I thought was so important, and they did it. This really is her Richard Donner Superman, and it's also a smashing together of Tim Burton's Batman, Batman Begins, because you know Tim Burton's Batman didn't do the origin, so you had to take some from Batman Begins. But yeah, and I also I did. Between the time we've recorded these last time, I have actually watched the Linda Carter TV show, so I do know
Oh, yeah.
a little bit more of Wonder Woman now.
I see.
And I did skip the pilot before watching it because that's like that's like the ultimate spoiler right there. But I thought it was really good. I felt I think one thing that really helps is they weren't. I don't mean to bash on Chris Nolan all the time, guys. I'll always, if I ever meet him in real life, I will always be like, hey, man, you gave me 2 amazing Batman movies. It's like, I'm like 3. You gave me 2 amazing Batman movies. And he was also producer on BVS. And it felt like it was allowed to kind of be its own thing also because it wasn't part of this universe, where it didn't feel... It felt a lot like Iron Man, because Iron Man was... You know, we weren't peppered in with a lot of characters. That was Iron Man 2. You know. But... But it felt like we weren't peppered with a lot of characters. It was able to be its own thing, and that the origin was done really well. There's humor in this movie that works real well. They weren't just trying to copy the Chris Nolan thing again, like they clearly did with Man of Steel. And that's the thing about DC, is that, you know, Marvel has a certain tone because all those characters are written by Stan Lee. So it's written by one guy, so of course they're going to have the same tone. But that's the great thing about Marvel. With DC, you had different writers. You had Jerry Siegel, you had Bill Finger, you had William Moulton Marston, you had Denny O'Neil, Frank Miller, all those guys. So all the characters have different tones. So that's part of the... I think that's really a missed opportunity in Batman vs. Superman, is that they try... Those characters feel similar versus... when you see the Flash and Arrow, because they do like a crossover every year, they're different, and that's what makes those crossovers fun.
Yeah.
So it felt like they were... Looking at the Richard Donner Superman movie, I think, was a great thing. And I think they did that with the first Spider-Man movie. It felt really like a 21st century Dick Donner Superman.
Yeah.
So the humor was great, the origin story. They felt like they did a lot of the iconic parts of it. And just like how the Superman movie took a lot of parts from George Reeves and the Fleischer shorts, Batman took a lot from the 60s show, although, you know, Burton's Batman is clearly starting out versus in the 60s show, he's already been Batman for a while. So, yeah, Gal Gadot, I think is how you pronounce it.
Godot or
yeah, something like that. She did a really great job as Wonder Woman. Chris Pine was great as Steve Trevor. So, yeah, that was great. And probably the only complaint I had, it's just my opinion. The only thing is that at the end they have the villain is CGI, except for his face. It's a human face. I wish they had CGI'd his face, because his face looks stupid having a human face. But that was like my only problem. Like, when you look at something like Man of Steel or Dark Knight Rises, you know, sometimes it feels like they're mopey. Yeah. Versus, it felt like the characters were real and like the drama was real, and yeah, it did feel like if this was the only Wonder Woman you ever got, you'd be satisfied. I mean, obviously there's going to be another Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
I hope the sequel, because who knows what happens with Justice League. But yeah, it was a great job. I think that if there's someone who's been waiting for a long time for a Wonder Woman movie, they're going to be really happy.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad. I have to admit now, I haven't seen it, but it is definitely the most excited I've been for a DC or Marvel movie in a few years, I guess.
Since Dark Knight Rises, probably.
This is the first time where I've been I have to see it in theaters as soon as possible.
It is really good. I want to see it again. They did such a nice job, and it felt like this. The sad thing when walking away is you walk out and you're just like, this is how Superman should have been done.
Yeah.
When they rebooted him. But look, clearly they learned their lesson, because this is kind of the first movie under Jeff Johns and John Berger, kind of their Kevin Feige's now. They got promoted after BVS didn't hit with a lot of people, so it feels like they're doing it the right way. And if I had to rank the 4 DC movies, we won't count the Batman, the Chris Nolan Batman movie, since they're not official, even though when I watch the DC movies, I start with Batman Begins, and then I go to Dark Knight, and then I skip the Dark Knight Rises.
Start right from Batman Begins.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
You don't be a chump.
You sound like drunk Alfred. Everyone talks about Superman. My boy's the one who started this whole thing. Everyone talks about Superman. He's been Batman 20 bloody years. You know what it's like? He got stabbed by the Joker a lot. That took a lot of stitches. You know, for a billionaire, he can't afford gloves. I stitched them up myself, I did. Blood on my hands. You know, that waterfall came in rear-handed with watching me had the blood on my hands. Do you know what it's like to be sitting at the back computer and see a Batmobile racing right to you? My God, you hope the brakes work on that thing. But yeah,
your favorite DC. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, my favorite DC. We won't count the Nolan ones, even though I think they should be. Whatever. Is number one. Don't get mad, people. You know, I like Batman vs Superman more than most people, so I put number one still BVS.
All right.
Because it's Batman and Superman. I think Wonder Woman was a better made movie, but I still like Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
Number two be Wonder Woman, then Suicide Squad, and sorry guys, I don't like Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wonder Woman, it's a really great movie. Yeah, it's this DC. It still has a little bit of life on it.
Then let's hope for Justice League.
That's the thing that scares me is that they've said that the future relies on Justice League. Boy, what do you think happens if Justice League fails? If it doesn't make $1 billion, and if it gets critical score like Man of Steel and BVS?
I mean, I don't really know, but
this is the thing is that it was almost a for sure reboot before Wonder Woman. Now with Wonder Woman, it's a little bit of a monkey wrench thrown in there.
So if Justice League just fails, what do you think happens with Wonder Woman 2?
Oh, that's it. Man, I still think this is like the right now with DC. We're seeing the worst thing about cinematic universe. The possibility of this happening is the worst thing about cinematic universe, because when you look at successful universes with superheroes, like you have the DC animated universe that started with Batman the Animated Series. You have the DC television universe, which started with Arrow. It's called the Arrowverse. I refuse to call it that, because that's stupid. That's like calling the Marvel movies the Ironverse. No. You had the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man. But the thing is, the beginning of those universes worked, versus Man of Steel did not work the way it should. You know, I look back, the worst thing Man of Steel did was not have Clark Kent in the movie. He's in the suit the whole time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that was a mistake, but that's the thing is that I wonder though. I still would probably say it all gets rebooted if Justice League. That's the thing that really sucks though. Yeah. Is that sorry Patty, your movie was fine, but we gotta start over because Justice League did not work.
If that actually happens, that does suck. Well, wait.
Here's another thing I thought of. I wonder. This could get so convoluted. Could they reboot Batman, Superman, but still have Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I mean, since that was their...
I mean, Batman and Superman are not at all... If Ben Affleck was in Wonder Woman, which he's not, spoiler alert, I was hoping he would be, but whatever. So, we know there is a Bruce Wayne that exists.
Yeah.
In that Wonder Woman movie, but you don't see Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And Superman's not in it because he's dead.
So almost like a partial reboot where everyone's rebooted except for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, could
because
that...
I mean, Wonder Woman's is it the most set to be the most successful one?
Honestly, I think it's gonna get $1 billion.
Okay.
Honestly, I think it could beat Spider-Man. I think it will beat Guardians, and I think it could beat Spider-Man.
That's awesome. But yeah, because of that, I mean, that should be a sign that there's a chance with this universe. But I mean, maybe. I mean,
but could Wonder Woman just be the fluke?
Yeah, I guess I get that.
And they'll still have Aquaman coming out because that's already filming.
What's the one that is gonna come after Justice League?
Is Aquaman.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, dang it! Like, since Wonder Woman 2 isn't the next one, that becomes much riskier.
I mean, do you punish these other directors who made? I mean, Aquaman, we're hoping will be a great movie because you got James Wan, who you talk about how great he was.
I'm gonna get into my next news.
But I mean, what do? Do you say, hey guys, our main whatever you want to say, Batman and Superman are the main two. We love you. Can have your favorites. Batman and Superman are the icons of everyone. It literally is the mountain. Batman and Superman are on top, and Wonder Woman and Spider-Man are under them, and then there's everyone else.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, what do you think are the possibilities of they'll just because we've seen. It looks like Ben Affleck might not be Batman, especially after these comments that Charles Roven, who's the producer, he's been a producer since Batman Begins, and he's his role got lessened after BVS, but he said, I don't know if Ben Affleck will be Batman in The Batman. I think so. But who knows? He didn't say that part, but he says, I think he'll be Batman. You think, but you don't know. And look, I'm sorry, Superman doesn't work in this universe. It doesn't work. People are saying in Justice League he'll finally become Superman. You had 2 movies.
Yeah.
Well, you should have done it in 1 movie, and you botched it. So what do you think the chances are that they'll keep Gal Gadot?
Whatever.
We'll say Gal.
We get it for now.
What do you think will keep Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa's Aquaman, but reboot Superman Batman?
I mean, man, the whole world of cinema and this kind of stuff is more complicated than I understand, but I would hate for a good franchise to be ruined because it's connected to, in some way, a bad franchise. I would hope that they would give the good ones another shot, Yep. That's all I can say.
You don't have an opinion about would they keep Wonder Woman, Aquaman, restart Batman and Superman?
Oh, my opinion on actually if they would and not if I would like them to. Because
do you think that is a possibility that they might be thinking of? If Justice League flops, do you think that because of Wonder Woman's success, do you think they'll still keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, but start over with a new Superman, new Batman?
Like I said, I just don't know. I'm not smart enough about this world of cinema to know that. I would hope so. I think that's possible. I mean, it doesn't have to. I mean, from my perspective, it doesn't have to. The whole ship doesn't have to go down, does it? You can keep the good parts. That's the way I see it. So
also,
I don't know how a movie exec would see it.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe recast Superman, Batman, and just kind of don't reference the other ones, the other movies.
Yeah, I mean, if whatever it takes to.
But if Justice League fails, could that hurt Wonder Woman? But at the same time, Batman vs Superman did not succeed, and yet people are still going to see Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's true. Part of me also thinks I don't know if they're really gonna. I feel like they're just gonna try and stick with this.
I don't know.
I mean, again, you would know more than me, but to me it seems so weird. Would they reboot already? I guess if it keeps failing, but it seems so weird. It just seems so short-lived to me.
Well, it's that's the thing is the thing that really hurts it was trying to copy the Dark Knight trilogy style.
Yeah.
Like, the TV universe, they did their own thing. Like, it started being... Arrow Season 1 was very Nolan-influenced, but then, as time went on, it became its own thing, became bigger and bigger and bigger.
I mean, I think they should just listen to what it clearly people like. If Aquaman's good and Wonder Woman's good, you should just keep, you should listen to that. You should do what they're doing right. Stop doing what the other ones were doing wrong. And I don't think that a complete sinking of the entire ship needs to happen. But if they don't listen to that, then
should they? Do you think that? Let's say they don't reboot. Do you think maybe they should recast? And they're probably gonna have to recast Batman.
Yeah.
Should they recast Superman? If Henry Cavill's Superman isn't working, people see him on screen again, they don't care. Should he be recast?
Yeah, I guess that's what I would want.
Also, here's another thing. There was going to be a Justice League movie in 2009. And here's the thing. When that was going on, we had the Christian Bale Batman and we had Brandon Routh Superman. And the goal was to have those Batman from the Chris Nolan movies was not going to be Batman in Justice League. It was its own separate thing.
Yeah.
Do you think they could go back to that, where everything is separate, and in Justice League movie, it could be a new Wonder Woman, and a new Aquaman, and a different Batman from a recast?
I mean, but in the Justice League one that's already happening, it would already be decided though? Or
what?
What's the cast looking like in the Justice League? It's coming.
Well,
I don't actually know.
The upcoming Justice League movie. It's still Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot.
Okay.
But could they reboot? So
you're saying the next
Justice League movie? Could they reboot and keep going with Wonder Woman, but then have a separate
that
universe?
Would be
how they do the TV universes.
Yeah. I think that would be a very good way to do it. Actually, I think if they wanted to recast, that would be a good way to do it. If they wanted to reboot, I guess that would also be a good way to do it. But because it almost does feel that way to me. Like Justice League can seem separate to me. I don't know why, but Justice League seems like the place to do it. But
I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation had if Wonder Woman was the first movie, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But we've had 1 out of 3 that worked for. I mean, I liked 3 out of the 4, but for most people, it's 1 out of the 4. So it'll be interesting. After that Justice League, when did they announce? So Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in May of 2014.
Sounds right.
And then they announced the Marvel deal in February 2015. So that's about 7 months, I guess, or 8.
What, May to February?
Yeah.
I can't do math on the spot on a podcast. What do you think I am?
But it wasn't that long. It wasn't that far away. It wasn't like it was a year later. It'll be interesting.
9 months.
9 months? That's a baby. So it could be, it will be interesting if in 2018, it looks like we'll probably get, I think it all relies on Justice League. 2018, we'll probably get a definite answer what happens.
Yeah. Man.
What were we talking about? You talked about Wonder Woman.
You asked
about Wonder Woman. What was the topic before
I was trying to bring us down a rabbit hole again.
Yes.
We're still, okay.
And you succeeded.
Am I the next news story?
Let's check.
I think
I think you are. But let us check.
Because you said,
let's see. You talked about Star Wars. Then I talked about Star Wars. Yeah. So you're next.
All right. Well, this is somewhat related to something we just mentioned, and also something we mentioned on a previous podcast. And that is the horror universe is created by James Wan, and there's an announcement that there will be another spin-off movie from the Conjuring series, which is a James Wan directed series. There's The Conjuring 2, and apparently there's going to be a Conjuring 3. And those are directed by James Wan, and now they're in the last I don't know what year it came out, but there was a spin-off movie called Annabelle, which was a spin-off of the first Conjuring movie, and that was bad. At least the critical consensus is that it was bad. I'm not saying anything personally. I didn't care to see it. But
wait, you haven't seen that?
I haven't seen Annabelle.
Okay.
I've seen every James Wan, the non-spin-off movies. And then there's now going to be an Annabelle 2, which I don't think anyone asked for. But now there's going to be yet another spin-off about the Crooked Man, which is from The Conjuring 2. And it just makes me wonder why they're taking it this far. I guess horror movies make money. If you release them in October and you get money no matter how good they are. But that's 3 spin-off movies from The Conjuring and 3 Conjuring movies. And I was not expecting there to be another Conjuring spin-off movie after the critical failure of Annabelle, and I was yet surprised that there even a sequel to that as well. I mean, you don't know much about these universes, but I do want to ask the question: is there like a series that you just think has been milked too much, or like spin-offs that just
do you mean
no one
like
asked
started
for?
good or turned bad?
I guess I mean like, is there spin-offs that just no one asked for that you can like
Spin-offs.
like, or perhaps just series milked too much, basically, that
well,
how else would I describe it? Like, basically, like, I mean, we talked about The Office and how it just almost went on too long.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about more extreme cases of that. Like, just
let's see.
Just as
I
kind
can
of a
probably think
segue.
of 2 that I mean, I like the first one, but 2 franchises where I like the first one, but then it really fell apart. And one was I don't know how you feel about the first Cars. I like the first Cars.
Oh yeah, and Cars 3 just came out.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
I have not either.
I
but
don't care to personally, but I do love Pixar.
I might be seeing it this Friday.
Oh. Isn't it pretty panned? I can't.
No,
It's not.
Rotten Tomatoes. Cars 1 is 75. Which, that's good. That's 3 out of 4.
It's decent. It's not great for Pixar.
Cars
but it's
2 is 32%.
Okay,
Cars
that's
3 is
definitely the panned
66.
one. Okay, that's
So
better.
it sounds like it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it won't be as good as the first one. Oh, here's another question to ask. But before that, whatever. I'll forget otherwise. What is Cars 2 your least favorite Pixar movie?
Yeah.
What is your next least favorite? I have one.
I haven't seen 2. There's 2 that are the lowest rated.
I have not seen Brave.
I haven't seen Brave either.
Okay.
The other one I haven't seen is The Good Dinosaur, and that's like has 70 something, right, on
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's possible
72.
I would say those because I tend to agree with like critics. I don't have original opinions in that regard. Man, okay. Can we bring up a list of Pixar movies? I like Pixar a lot, and I don't want to.
If I go on will the Wi-Fi screw up the mic?
It doesn't.
Okay. It's just cellular data.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just
Okay.
cellular.
So keep talking while I look this up.
Because Pixar is like, I have 2 just animated movie companies that are just the gods of the animated movie world that I'm just like, they're Pixar and Studio Ghibli are make the greatest
I've never
animated
heard
content.
Studio Ghibli. What is this?
Studio Ghibli is Japanese animated movie company. The most famous movie coming from it, which won an Oscar, was Spirited Away.
Oh, yes.
And then there's like My Neighbor Totoro is a famous one. Kiki's Delivery Service.
Speaking of favorite animated things, it may not come as a surprise to him, but, my favorite thing is like the television stuff, so my favorite is the good people at Warner Brothers.
Right.
And those are the only direct video movies I'll like buy without watching them first.
Yeah.
So you want me do you want to see the list?
I'm gonna look at the list, and I'm just gonna go through.
So just so everyone knows, we have not seen Cars 3 yet, so we can't comment on it.
I have not seen Brave, I haven't seen Cars 3, I haven't seen The Good Dinosaur.
And we're not counting Cars 2, because that's too easy.
Yeah, that's my least favorite. My next least favorite, man, I love all the other ones.
You know what?
I love all the other ones.
I'll say something, and I don't know if you'll die shocked.
Okay.
I've never seen WALL-E.
I haven't seen it for a long time, and I just saw it, because I was like, what? I actually was like, I was like kind of looking up what's the general consensus on what people think the best Pixar movies are, and a bunch of people were saying WALL-E, and I was like, I've never heard so many people. I didn't know that this was one of the most critically acclaimed Pixar movies, and it's not one of my favorites actually.
Really?
Because it has a great first half and kind of a second. Like the second half is just kind of does nothing for me.
I always mean to watch it, but I never.
It is very good though. Like it is up to par with Pixar movies.
Okay.
It's just I like other ones better.
So while you're looking, I'll say a franchise that's kind of fell apart for me is Cars was one where I liked the first one a lot, and then Cars 2 sucked, and then they have god-awful plane movies.
That is a good example because the milking a franchise that isn't even good is kind of what I was talking about.
And also, another movie that I thought was the first one was good and fell apart. I don't know how you feel about it. I liked the first Pirates of the Caribbean, and then it sunk.
That's a pretty good example too because there's so many.
I mean,
actually,
our fifth one.
I really like the first one. Like it's such a good movie.
Yes, it is.
The second one, again, this is one example where, like when I was younger, I just didn't dislike movies, but I do remember liking that one a bit.
I have not.
And then it definitely fell off.
I hate that third one.
Yeah, no, I remember not liking it after that.
Although I haven't seen the fifth one because I don't care. I do remember thinking the fourth one was the. This is like a lot of people don't feel this way, but I remember thinking the fourth one was the best since the first, which isn't saying much, but still.
No, yeah, but no, that's a pretty. Most people usually agree to that the first one's great, and then they were just kind of milking
greedy.
it too much. But that first one is such a genuinely good movie to me that I'm scrolling through this list over and over again, and every single time I almost say one, my heart just breaks. But gosh, if I don't want to say Ratatouille.
You don't want to say Ratatouille?
No, but that's what I'm like. The other one that's like not necessarily the best, but I have a hard time saying because Monsters University is like not like that's another contender for my second least favorite.
I thought this was gonna be easy. I'll say mine while you look because I have. It's The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah,
you haven't seen it.
Like I said, I thought
if I had known you hadn't seen it, I wouldn't have said this. But you watch it, and it's really just a knockoff of The Lion King. And you're watching, and you're just like, can't I just watch The Lion King instead? This is not. It's not their best.
Okay, but like you see how hard this is. Okay, if I haven't seen The Good Dinosaur, I haven't seen Cars 3, and I haven't seen Brave. So those are just out.
See,
and they're also some of the less high-rated ones, like on Rotten Tomatoes. Knowing that, what's your next least favorite? Because
now it's difficult.
Because that's my issue. I have to say, I just uttered the words that it might be Ratatouille, and I hate myself for it.
Can we say, we'll go overrated.
Overrated?
Yes. Overrated. I'm going to break some people's hearts when I say my most overrated.
I think I know what you're going to say. Is it Finding Nemo?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Pixar movies. It's like in my top 3, so I can't say
I actually like Finding Dory a lot more
Gosh, that might be another one that's near the bottom to me.
Really?
Isn't
it nice
it's
how
so,
you can have a difficult time choosing?
But that's the thing.
With Pixar,
I hate myself for saying any of these that are near the bottom. So many of these are just I could look at it and go, "That's my favorite Pixar movie," and then I go to the next one and go, "That's my favorite Pixar movie." That's they're all too good. I can't. So, is that your answer for counting out Brave the Good Dinosaur and Cars 3 and Cars 2 because we just counted those out, and I'm removing the Good Dinosaur because I haven't seen it. You would say Finding Nemo is your next least favorite?
It's not least. I'm saying most overrated.
Oh, okay. Do you have a next least favorite?
Boy.
Because I'm trying to make you suffer as I did.
When it first came out, I didn't like Up, but now I like it more.
Yeah.
Boy.
I like Up a lot.
Let's
you gotta look too.
Yeah.
I have to know, and I have to put him through the same thing that I went through.
Yes.
I hate it.
When you take out Good Dinosaur, that really makes it difficult. Let's see. I had not seen Bug's Life in so long.
That's one where I feel like if I saw it again, it's probably, it's not my top 5. I
don't like saying this.
I didn't like saying any of my answers either.
What was your answer?
It's between Monsters University and Ratatouille.
Okay.
Probably.
I would say Inside Out because I thought it got a little long, and I thought maybe it would have worked better as an hour-long TV special.
Yeah. I can see how it got a little long. I've thought that a bit too, but I'm
not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I felt it could have... if you cut a few things out, maybe it could have gotten...
Yeah, no, actually...
It felt like it would have dragged out a little bit.
That's one of my favorites. When it came out, it was my favorite Pixar movie, and then I just went back and watched some, and I was like, yeah, I don't know for sure if it's my favorite, but it's still nearly my favorite Pixar movie. And then I just felt like nothing could live up to it, and I haven't seen a new Pixar movie since. Which is
what?
Well, I haven't. The Good Dinosaur came out after it. Cars 3 came after it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I was mostly joking. But, yeah.
So, what was your last story?
My last story was about a spin-off, yet another spin-off to a hit James Wan horror franchise that I thought was good, and then
so I guess it's my turn?
Yeah.
How far
are we going to do a comedy story this episode?
Yes, we probably should.
Because should we just do that, or do you want to do the news? We could do quick news, or and then
I guess we could do a quick news. So, this could go real quick. So, as we haven't really talked about this, but Zack Snyder was directing Justice League, and this really horrible tragedy happened where his daughter took her own life, and he felt that it was best to to be with his family who he felt needed him over, because look, we don't like saying this, but it is just a movie. So
yeah,
there's gonna be other Justice League movies, I promise you.
Yeah.
But so Joss Whedon has took over to do reshoots, which a lot of people freak out over reshoots. But I don't know if you noticed, but reshoots are planned all the time for movies.
Yeah.
You watch a movie and you're just like, you know what, that's good, but if we got this angle instead.
Yeah.
And he was always planned on doing, he was writing the reshoot script pages, and, so he'll be directing the reshoots. It's, Warner Bros. Is still saying it's Zack Snyder's film, but, in fact, they even offered to push back the release so that he could come back, but Zack Snyder said that, no, just have it keep going. This, you can trust Joss Whedon, so they went forward with that. And Joss is also announced to do, because he directed Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Joss Whedon is also announced to direct a Batgirl movie, which I'm so happy, if this universe continues, I'm so happy that we're finally getting the Bat family. They're also going to do a Nightwing movie, which I don't know if you know this, but Dick Grayson Robin, eventually when he grows up, he becomes Nightwing. And then you have, like, the replacement Robins. Like, Jason Todd is the Robin whose suit you see in BVS. And then Tim Drake will probably be Robin if they keep going. But, yeah. I remember I got so burned out of just solo Batman. Because I remember during that interrogation scene in Dark Knight, when I first saw it, I'm just like, we've had 2 solo Batman movies. I'm getting ready for Robin to show up again.
Yeah.
But, so Joss Whedon is finishing the movie for Zack Snyder. Mm-hmm. And it was announced recently that because this guy, Junkie XL, that's a great name.
That's a fantastic name.
It was going to do the music for Justice League. He kind of worked with Hans Zimmer for BVS. And I guess he did the Wonder Woman theme too. Like, I don't know if you've heard it.
Yeah.
But it was announced that he's been replaced, and Danny Elfman is going to be scoring Justice League. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Danny Elfman is the guy who did the score for the two of the 4 movies, the 2 Tim Burton Batman movies, and he also did the theme for the animated series. So, he's doing the music now. I just want to, what do you think about that? Is there really any significance about having Danny Elfman come back and taking over doing the music?
I mean, I think if you've worked on something related before, you probably know how to capture the musical spirit of it again. I don't know much Danny Elfman, though. I don't.
Well, he also did the theme for Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
I'm not. I know of it, and I'm just not that familiar with it. But it seems like it seems like a good choice since he's done all this stuff.
But the thing is, it's interesting because the DC movies, once again, trying to copy the Nolan style, were very Hans Zimmer inspired. Hans Zimmer still was working on BVS, and he retired from superhero movies, so they all kind of sounded similar. And now Danny Elfman's taking over, which, when you think of the 1989 Batman theme, it's very different from the Hans Zimmer Batman theme from the Dark Knight trilogy.
I see what you're saying. So. Yeah, since you wish that they would not be doing the more Christopher Nolan type of movie in this new universe, so if your intuition on that is true, this is a good choice then.
Yeah.
If they want a different mood for the music.
Why reboot it if you're just going to copy the same thing you did before? You might as well have had it just be a sequel.
Yeah. I do have to say, though, I do love Hans Zimmer scores. I think Hans Zimmer is one of my favorite movie scorers.
Which did you like? Because you haven't seen Batman vs. Superman still.
Yeah, no.
Have you heard the Batman theme? Dun, 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 dun.
Hey, you're saying the one in Batman vs. Superman? I haven't.
So, we've had the Danny Elfman theme, which you remember, right?
Yeah.
We've had the Hans Zimmer theme. Which one did you like more?
The thing is, I love Hans Zimmer, but the Batman ones are not necessarily my favorite. I'm more I like the Inception, more, for example. So maybe the Danny Elfman.
For me, when I think of when I hear that Danny Elfman Batman theme, I think of Batman.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help that was the theme you heard that all the time before Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Even toy commercials and all that.
Yeah.
So it's just honestly, when I hear that, as much as I love those first 2 Nolan Batman movies, when I hear that, dun dun dun, I don't really think of Batman when I hear that.
Yeah.
I like his Superman theme that he did from Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's way less
think his
memorable,
Batman
for sure.
theme really works for the character.
Yeah, his music is less. It can tend to be less melodic, so it's less memorable because of that. But yeah, I barely remember what the Batman Hans Zimmer stuff sounded like. and I think that the Inception stuff is more memorable. So, did he do Interstellar as well?
I feel like he does all the Nolan movies.
Because I think he did that, and that's also, that's also an amazing listen. But shows what I know. I don't even know that. But
so also, what do you think the chances are that he'll bring back that Batman theme?
Hope so. God, I feel like he has to. No, I don't.
It's not like, because we're not saying that because Danny Elfman is doing the music that Ben Affleck suddenly becomes Michael Keaton, Kilmer, and Clooney 20 years later.
It might not fit.
But what do you think the chances are that he'll bring it back? Well, maybe just for one scene.
Maybe bring it back in like sort of a little motif in it, but not exactly full on.
They're bringing back the '60s Spider-Man theme somewhere in the main theme for Homecoming.
That's awesome.
So maybe it will be somewhere.
I think they're trying to do more throwback stuff now.
I feel like you kind of have to, because for a lot of people, Batman vs. Superman did not capture who Batman is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
For me, also we had The Dark Knight Rises. A lot of the last few Batman and Supermans have been mixed, So, I feel like you kind of got to show people, hey, guys, this is still your Batman. If you saw the animated series or Tim Burton Batman or Adam West Batman, he's still the same. It's a reboot, but it's still going to feel the same. So I wonder, could he work in John Williams' Superman theme? I don't know.
What are the rules? Who's going to come knocking on the doors if he tries that? I don't know.
Well, it's all owned by Warner Brothers.
But, I don't know how. They completely own score? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, it says in the end credits, also like story and screenplay, copyright Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Score, copyright Warner Brothers.
True. That seems obvious. Should have known that. Any callbacks that they can do would be really awesome, but I doubt that one much more than that.
Yeah, I don't think it will, but if you hear that theme, that's just like his opening theme, and you just for a little bit, that would be amazing. Also, I guess we got
a comedy story left.
Yes. Right? Here we go. Okay. So, okay. This is one I wanted to bring. Can't use that one. This is something I've been I found out about this a while ago, and I knew next episode I wanted to bring this up. I might have told you about this. I don't remember. But
we'll see.
Now, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
Not yet.
Okay.
But that's another on my list. It takes me a while to get to stuff. I've seen the first one.
Did you like the first one?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. One of them, probably in one of my more liked Marvel movies. Somewhere in the top, not necessarily top, but
I gotta be honest.
You don't like it too much.
Not really, no.
Here's the thing. I explained this to someone recently. Why I kind of used the same thing. They didn't care for Guardians of the Galaxy much, and I did. And I think more than the movie itself, I think I just like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like just the characters and stuff, because I get sick of super dark takes on things that DC, for example, likes to do, and it's like it can be cool, but I just like the Guardians of the Galaxy just embraces being really silly. That's mostly what I like about it. It's not like it's a genius movie or anything.
Oh, maybe because I didn't watch it until last year, so I heard so much about it, and also you're coming off Civil War, so and I watched it right after, so maybe I need to rewatch it again, but
I just thought I thought that it was my complaint is it was extremely well paced until a certain point where it was just I don't know, there's kind of what I felt to be a bit of a boring space fight segment, or not, the
dance off.
I like that part. But before that, the big old ship in the dome, the city.
I don't really remember much about it.
The fight in the sky. There's a lot of like boring logistics of fighting, of defending the city and stuff.
Maybe it didn't help that I watched it 2 years after I heard people talk about how good it was.
Yeah, it's more like one of those movies that's just fun, and isn't necessarily like it didn't blow my mind or anything.
All right,
like
so speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, they had the second one come out recently, and well, it led to a lawsuit.
Oh.
A 37-year-old man from Austin, Texas. This is coming from IndieWire, so whoever wrote this, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name. But a man from... I'll paraphrase, so it's not like I'm stealing. A guy from Texas is suing his date for texting during the screening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He filed a petition in small claims court asking the date to pay $17.31, the amount for the ticket of the 3D showing of the film.
Oh, gosh.
It said he met the woman online, took her to see the movie on May 6th, and it was a first date, and his date started texting on the phone, and he said this is one of his biggest pet peeves. Best part. When contacted by the paper, the woman said she did not know about the suit and was shocked to learn the news. So the newspaper called, "Did you know you're being sued?" What?
Oh my!
And James Gunn jokingly tweeted, "Why stop suing? She deserves jail time." So, thoughts on a guy suing his date? Would you take these drastic steps?
This guy just seems like that's entitlement. People talk about entitlement and like how people are the people. I don't feel like the person obsessed with their phone is the entitled one here. I think the person who expects cash money for just like just a pet peeve. You don't.
In the end, won't they pay more in legal fees than this?
He wants to send a message.
Yes, he does.
No, this is. I mean, my take on it is that guy's dumb. But that's my take on it. I think I'm gonna sue that guy.
Is there a movie that you were really hyped to see, and if someone had done that during a movie, you would have been really mad?
I just don't think I believe in like getting so mad that you take measures to do something about it. Like, just get over it.
I mean,
no, so there wouldn't be anything.
It would have been just so much simpler had he not called her again.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's not like, if you care about a movie you're seeing that much, then
probably not take a person you don't know.
You don't know, and then a couple like, first of all, like you. I mean, you should just be expecting that on first dates that things can go wrong and not react to it so strongly. And the other thing is, that shouldn't even be something going wrong. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the extent to which she was texting, but even if she was just texting through the whole thing, like, why? I mean, I feel like a lot of people might disagree with me on this. I know that a lot of people are just like, people are on their phones too much, like at concerts and just like taking pictures and recording stuff. But I'm always like, that's their personal bubble. Like, they can just do whatever they want. Like, if they're at a concert and they want to record the entire thing,
isn't that technically copyright infringement?
I mean, I think you can. It depends on its venue rules usually.
Oh, okay.
So most of the concert venues I go to, you're allowed to do that. But then there are people who are just like, stop living in your phone and like live here with us. And like, I mean, whether or not they would have more fun if they took a step away from their phone for a second, I don't care. I just like, stop worrying about what they're doing is all I'm saying. Like, you're so worried about someone else enjoying something hypothetically more by not being on their phone. But like, I don't know, just like forget it, I guess. Like, so to me it's like, he was so upset about this pet peeve of someone else texting, but what he could have also done is like, just forget it. Like, just don't care so much that someone's texting.
Yeah, like normally if there's like something I'm really looking forward to, like an episode of a TV show, or we'll say for example, when Superman showed up in Supergirl, I was real excited for that, and I made sure I watched that by myself, so I wouldn't be bothered.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the way to experience something you really care about,
especially for the first time. But if I had already seen that, I wouldn't care as much. But I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
But before we wrap this up. This leads to two questions I ask. Number one, what is the worst movie-going experience you've ever had? Have you ever had an experience that was just... So I'm not saying worst movie. We'll save that for next.
Yeah.
What is the worst experience?
I got one. I just can't... I'm really trying to remember what movie it was, but I kind of remember the experience. I know that I was with some people. Only like one of them was like a friend, and I was there with them. The other people were like...
Do you have a good guess at what year it was?
It was probably just after I graduated from high school. I think it was
2012?
sort of a... Yeah, something... I think it was sort of like a horror movie that didn't stick with me that much. It was just probably not that famous. Oh, God, wait. I don't know if this is it, but there was this movie, Oculus, that I thought was really, like, pretty decent. But I think the reason why it was bad is because the group I was with was being really loud and just, like, making fun of the movie and yelling, and it gave me so much anxiety.
Were you into... So, were you into the movie?
I liked it, and everyone I was with was, like, bashing on it and being loud, and at one point I saw someone in the theater, like, look back angrily at us, and I was like, I don't want to be a part of this group. It gave me so much anxiety. I was just like, I don't want to be with them right now. I want to be my own person watching this movie instead of with this group of people right now. That's the kind of thing at movies that stresses me out, is if I'm with people, I am always, like, afraid of, like, being noticed at a movie theater. Like,
Have you ever been noticed at a movie theater?
Besides that,
I can think of one time, and I'll tell this later. It's kind of... It was such a bad movie, but so that's your worst is it makes me anxious to have someone think like that group of kids, but I'm like, I'm not part of this. Please don't look at me. So there was, for me, I was the movie Lincoln.
Okay.
So I went to see it during the day. So it was about like noon or something.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in there. And there's not a lot of people in the theater, okay? But I'm sitting there, and we're about, like, I'd say, like, 45 minutes or an hour into the movie. And then you hear someone behind you say, hello? Yeah. And it was this tone, too. Hello? Yeah. I'm just here watching a movie. He's just on his phone talking. He's like, yeah, what do you want to do later? And this guy's yelling, shut up! I'm just like... This guy's just talking, and he wasn't trying to hide it. He was just...
That's crazy that someone could have that little self-awareness, because, like, that does remind me of another time where I actually think it might have been, like, the Hunger Games or something that I saw, where there was some, like, I think it was, like, just, like, a teenager who just, like, started talking on the phone in the middle of it. And then there was one, like, it was for a while, like 10 minutes he was just talking on the phone. And then eventually someone went up to him and, like, can you please stop talking on the phone in the middle of the movie? And the look on his face and, like, the way he reacted, it was like he genuinely didn't know that was the social contract. He was just like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't, like, it was like he had no idea that you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, this also brings up another memory. We're having flashbacks right here. Yeah. But I saw Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. And it's, you know, there's comedic bits in there. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But there's, like, comedic bits, and there's this guy laughing. He's like, ha, ha, ha! Like, the audience was laughing. He's still going for, like, 5 or 10 seconds. Like, the eyes, ha, ha. He's like, ha, ha, ha!
Oh, gosh.
Ha, ha, ha! And this guy yells, shut up! I never heard him laugh again.
God.
It was like the most awkward, heartbreaking. But yeah, you're just like, what do you do in that situation?
Like, I feel bad for him a bit.
But
he was just trying to have fun.
Also, I remember I saw this one movie. Have you ever? I'm gonna spoil it, okay? Have you ever seen the movie Tuck Everlasting?
No.
It's a Disney movie I will spoil it. Because
Spoilers for Tuck Everlasting.
it came out like 2002, so it's or 2003. So I sat there. It's like one that like my sister dragged me to. And I didn't want to see it. And I'm just sitting there, and it's like this. It's like this really crappy love story in like the 19th century, where there's like the girl, you know, she's whiny or whatever, like, and she's like Rose from Titanic, just complains about everything, and then she meets this guy who's somehow is able to live forever because he keeps drinking this water or something, and I guess they consider them witches or something. They're like gonna try and kill them, and this is like 90 minutes of torture, and I'm just like, and it's like you're sighing, you're just like, it can't be over. And there's this girl, like, stranger, far away, who just, shh. You just, like, every sigh, like, shh, like, so into the movie, shh.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay.
You are just so audibly disappointed.
I'm just like, it can't be over. So I rewatched the ending on YouTube because I was afraid of rewatching the ending on YouTube because, you know, sometimes you think of something and it's better than you remember.
Yeah.
Then I rewatched it and it got even better. Oh. The ending for Tuck Everlasting. So as we learn, the boy can live forever because he drinks this water, magical water. And, you know, he tells the girl, hey, we can be together if you drink the water. So we flash forward 100 years later, and he's standing at her grave.
What?
Because he's just like, we can be together forever if you drink the water. And then it cuts to him looking at her grave.
Is it like a drastic cut almost? Or
I don't know.
I just thought it wasn't like tackily.
No, it wasn't like we can be together and suddenly.
Yeah, I know. That's
but it's like years later, and he's just staring at her grave and her husband's grave next to her, and he just has this look on his face so like she was just like, I can live forever, and then he said, we can be together forever. So he just has this horrible, depressed look on his face, like, would it really have been that bad? And then I forgot about this until I re-looked up the ending on YouTube. He looks at her grave, and then it cuts to a musical montage of them having fun together.
What?
Like,
what?
How could she never love me? And then credits.
Wow.
It was a Disney movie too. It was rough to sit through. But speaking of that, to wrap this up, because man, are we going there?
Oh yeah.
What is the worst movie you've ever seen in theater? What was a movie that's so bad that you're just like, oh my god? Ooh. We won't talk about some of the movies we've seen in school because remember Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio? Remember what was that one that we like to watch in Spanish?
Oh, we've seen
that one about the soup.
The soup?
Tortilla soup where they smash the plate. Oh my god.
Oh,
that was awful.
That's right. I forgot about it.
Dude, I remember I had English class before then, and I literally took my time on a test, so I didn't have to watch part of that movie.
Yeah, but wait, so, I mean, those were just things we saw just in class
but in a theater.
In a theater. See, I feel like I'm so picky with what I see in the theater, because I don't just go out to see every movie. Like, I'm always like, am I really gonna like it? And I haven't had that many bad movie-going experiences. I'm not sure if I can even think of one.
So there's never been a movie you've either walked out on either?
I've never walked out of a movie. I'm trying to think if I've even been like super bummed, like, God, that was bad. I can't even think of a situation like that.
So I've got 3 stories real quick about bad movies.
Yeah.
Bad movies on the screen. You know, we heard about the worst experience, but I'll do the one I walked out on first because it's up there, but it's not one of the worst I've seen in theaters. Yeah. But have you ever heard of this movie, Imagine That?
No, I don't think
so. It has Eddie Murphy, and there's this girl who's his daughter, and it's about her imagination under a blanket.
Really?
And you'd think like they'd like show it like in cartoon. Nope, it's just put on the blanket and Eddie Murphy and her jumping and skipping around the house for 90 minutes. It's so bad. I was just like, really? What is this? There's the guy who was Sandman in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, really?
That guy. I think it's Thomas Hayden Church. I believe that's his name.
I know what he looks like.
But he's watching through the window because Eddie Murphy, something about he's like an investor or something. You know, something for the stock market or something. Yeah. And you know, homeboy's like, oh, I worked too hard. I gotta spend more time with my daughter. Like every stupid movie about a single father. But so he watches through the window because I guess that's like his competition is Eddie Murphy. And he watches and it's like, that's how he does it. I must steal that blanket. Literally, when that happened, I was just like, hey, life is too short to be spent on this movie. And there's like a half hour left. So I stood up. I was like, you know what? My parents and sister were going to finish. I'm just like, you know what? Life is too short. So I went in the lobby, and they had like trailer vision where you could watch the trailer for like Spider-Man 3 and all those. So I spent the rest of the last 20 minutes in there because life was too short to spend on that movie. But there's two movies that have ever happened that were so bad that I've seen in theaters that I was literally left speechless. It was credits roll, someone like one of my parents turned to me and said, so what'd you think? And it's like 10 seconds of just speechless. One of them, you can probably guess.
Is the one we've talked about a lot?
Yes, it is. I remember because I was so excited. That week leading up to that movie was so exciting. Like, I skipped the Burton Schumacher movies because it's almost like if you watch Batman 99 and then you watch The Dark Knight, you might be like, oh, I just feel like I just watched this. The first time he meets the Joker.
Yeah.
So I rewatched like the animated series and the movies, and I'm so excited. While I'm sitting there, and I feel like I've cracked the story because I've read the comics that it's based on.
Yeah.
And I watch it, and I'm just like, man, how's he gonna? Because I knew he's gonna come back to being Batman. His back's gonna be broken. There's gonna be a part where you think he died, but it turned out he faked his death. So I'm watching there, and a little bit of marketing happened where I was pretty sure Robin was gonna be in it. He was not. But what happened was, so we see it, and what makes him become Batman again, if you remember?
Okay. So you're saying like when he decided to become Batman again?
What was the catalyst? You don't know, do you?
No.
Dark Knight Returns, which is what that part was based on, is about, he's been retired for 10 years, and he is miserable because, like, he'll go to bed and he'll go to the sirens, and he's miserable because he wants to be Batman again, but the Joker murdered Jason Todd, who was the second Robin, so he felt like because he failed that he had to quit, and like he hears the Batman voice in his head say, no, this is who you are. So there's that. We talked about the scene earlier, Catwoman stealing his mother's pearls. That was the catalyst.
Oh yeah.
What was it? It wasn't Bane. It was I'm sure Alfred's like, you haven't been down here in a long time. I'm tracking my mom's pearls.
I forgot about that.
And that's
such a minor thing. Wow.
And literally, that's what starts it all up. When's the next time you see Bruce Wayne? He's following her to get those pearls, and then they're at the party, and it's just like, those pearls do look better on you, but I can't let you keep them.
Gosh.
So, and then we're just like, okay, Bane. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm so hyped for this movie, and then I see the Bane Batman fight, the first one where he breaks his back, because I know in the comics it happens where Bruce is coming out from the Batcave and Bane is at Wayne Manor, and there's this great fight, and at the end he'll like toss him. He's at Goth. I think he's like on a building in Gotham. He says, "This is your savior," after he breaks his back and throws him like down on the street. And then you're watching this fight, And there's that really horrible dialogue.
Yeah.
You fight like a younger man, admirable but mistaken.
Just like boom, boom. Ah, rah.
You merely adopted the dark coast bonnet, molded by it.
And then like he just breaks it back, and what happens? He gets thrown into that hole.
Yep.
I'll
And
always-
speaking of that hole, it's a rabbit hole. Anyway,
Yes.
keep going.
So this is a therapy session right now.
Yeah.
We'll try not to talk about The Dark Knight Rises much after this, although we're getting to that 5-year anniversary.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
oh my god, I don't want to say this. Maybe a commentary? No, let's not do that.
It'd be so much sighing. Like, oh.
We would have to mark this explicit. But I remember just like, okay, just watching that, and then you know the game for The Dark Knight Rises that they had for like iPads. They changed the story, and it's a really good story.
So even the iPad game did that.
Yes,
Wow.
but you're watching this, and he climbs up that hole, you know, the first time.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 he falls. And then, if you can't tell, I just rewatched it. I'm still bitter about it. And, that's why I officially gave up a few weeks ago. I said, I'm done, and this time I mean it. But, oh god, what was it? So I'm just watching it, and you think, you know what would have been more interesting? Him trying to find his utility belt and, like, fighting all those guards.
Oh, yeah.
I remember he tries to climb out that hole the second time, and then he falls. And literally, as he falls, so do my hopes. And I'm literally just like, you know, this movie kind of sucks. And then, yeah, he finally climbs out of that hole, and no one bothers to stop him.
Yep.
No one calls Bane either, because he's so surprised.
Impossible.
And, yeah, then we get to that ending where
Yeah.
he runs away, and the cop who just happened to be named Robbins, and literally, they knew for so long I was so excited, and it's like a credits roll. What'd you think? And I'm just in shock over what I've just seen. Like, and my first words were Tim Burton did it better because we've seen all of what Nolan was gonna do.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? And literally, we're walking out, and I'm just like, I felt like I got punched or something. Like, what was that? Like, and then the other one I saw, kind of a little topical. So I don't know if you've watched the Transformers movies.
2 of them maybe. I know I've seen the first one.
I watched the first one. I thought the first one was pretty good.
It's decent.
I saw the second one.
I've heard things.
Oh
about the second one.
boy, and it's long. It's 2.5 hours of robots punching each other, and once again, the it wasn't even that to the credits. I turned to one of my parents was just like, "What do you think?" I'm just like, "This sucks." And the credits roll. I'm just like, what was that? So
Yeah.
Transformers 2, because I don't remember all the subtitles, is
Yeah.
the worst movie I've ever seen in theaters.
That's
And they have a new one coming out,
yeah.
I believe. So have you thought of one?
Oh man, I really like. I think my only reaction to movies is just that it's not good enough to even remember because like the only movies that I even have in my mental log are the best movies I've seen. There's nothing that I've been shockingly disappointed or negative about that has left a mark on me.
But Transformers, a new one, which I guess opens this week. Wait, what's the date today? Today June? It opens today, I guess.
Oh,
That's weird. On a Wednesday?
I guess did
That
I just
explains-
see 18% on Rotten
Yes,
Tomatoes?
you did. It is the lowest rated one so far.
Wow.
So, I mean,
It's nice to know that that's what they put. Who
That's
knows?
nice.
Millions into.
million. And you know what the thing is? 2014, okay? Do you remember what came out in 2014?
A lot of things.
We had, just as superhero movies, we had We had Captain America Winter Soldier.
Hey,
You've not seen that, have you?
No.
Shame on you.
We've talked about this.
We have The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I liked, but a lot of people didn't. We had X-Men Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, that's the best X-Men one.
Oh.
And we also had Guardians of the Galaxy. And the highest grossing one of 2014, Transformers 4. It goes 57 was the first one. Then it goes 19, 35, 18, 18.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, this morning it was
boy.
at 16, but...
It bumped it up. Oh, hey, look, there's an ad for Despicable Me 3, which for some reason has Groot, but with blonde hair.
Well, that's his brother.
Yeah, I know that. That's basically, he just looks like Groot
Yes.
with blonde hair.
Speaking of since we talk about Pixar, have you ever heard of Armand White?
What's that?
Armand White?
What?
He's a critic.
Oh.
He's a professional troll.
Oh.
You know how so many Pixar movies have 99%?
Yeah.
He's why.
He just trolls them or something?
He literally will go the opposite of everyone else.
Oh.
On purpose. Like, remember that movie Get Out?
I was just thinking that's 99%.
It
right?
was 100 until
Because
him.
I have to say, I think that came out this year, right? Like February? Because
Yeah.
it's my favorite movie this year so far.
Yeah. So, yeah, he will... he's the reason the Toy Story trilogy almost was one where every movie had 100% except for him. He's the one rotten review, I think.
Wow, I didn't realize that there was a reason why they were 99.
Now you know. If you ever go on to 99, he is the reason. And I guess for a while he was banned from Rotten Tomatoes, but then they let him come back.
Yeah.
So Get Out is your favorite movie of the year so far?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've already seen it 3 times.
In theaters or on home video?
I've just seen it once theaters, twice since it came out.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a lot of movies this year. I think I've only seen 3 movies. And my favorite's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it? There's only
I mean,
3?
the only other one I've seen in theaters this year is Logan.
I saw... Yeah, that was this year. Man. I think I've only seen 3. I've seen Logan, I think was the first one, and then Beauty and the Beast live action and Wonder Woman.
Good set. No,
Yes.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, I didn't like
care
Logan,
for
but
but yeah, that is...
So, yeah.
Most movies...
And to think about it, how far are we from Spider-Man Homecoming?
What is that, July? Or
July 7th.
Okay.
Let's see, we got 1 week, 2 weeks away? If we don't count
from
this week.
Friday, it's 2 weeks from this Friday.
Well, when this actually gets I think when this gets
Oh,
uploaded...
it's gonna be that week.
Yes!
Yeah, whatever day that week. So
Yes!
check out Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, boy. You know, they already have one review come out, and people say it's their favorite one.
Of all Spider-Mans?
Yeah, but it sounds like the person didn't like the other ones. But
oh, okay.
I'm just like, you know...
If it's accessible to someone who doesn't like the other ones.
If it's good, you know, that's all I care about. Like, it's going to be such a challenge for me, for someone to ever make Spider-Man movie better than Spider-Man 2. But why not keep going?
Yeah.
As long as they're good, that's all you can really ask for. And, yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think it'll be as good as the first Tobey Maguire or the first Andrew Garfield, but I'm still excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, too. That's my next movies I have to see this year, and that I want to see Wonder Woman like this or next week as soon as possible.
Oh, you should.
And then Spider-Man Homecoming. Those are like the 2 movies in theaters I have to see.
Yeah. Also, just so you know, if you ever go see Wonder Woman, you don't have to see BVS first, because, you know, it's a prequel, but all you need to know is that Bruce Wayne knows who Wonder Woman is, and Wonder Woman knows that Batman's Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Because small little spoiler really has nothing to do.
Yeah.
In Batman vs. Superman, because it's in the trailer, Batman vs. Superman, Bruce finds a picture of her because Lex Luthor was keeping all these tabs on like Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Aquaman. He finds a picture of her from 1918, and in the Wonder Woman trailer, you see that he sent a briefcase with the original picture.
Oh.
So he sees that, like, holy crap, she's aged very well. Those Amazon jeans. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I think this is our longest running episode.
Yes, it is.
We actually went through news this time, unlike last
You know what?
episode.
I think we actually crammed a lot in here.
This is a content-packed episode,
It
unlike
is.
the last episode.
The last one.
Good episode, which you
Yes.
should check out, but less actual news in that one.
Yeah, that one. Look, we tried, but
We tried, but it's all about falling down that rabbit hole.
it is because there's nothing more important than that rabbit hole.
Yep.
So,
Yep, that's the that's comment section.
Yes.
And
al-
again,
also check out our other podcast, Unwanted Answers.
and now that we know the titles, we can continue
We can
telling you
promote them.
to check out comment section, the past episodes, future episodes, unwanted answers. All of it's on iTunes.
Yes.
All of it's on YouTube. Check it all out.
Yeah.
And that's the end of this episode. Keep falling down that rabbit hole.
Exactly.